Now, when it comes to content governance, you want to keep it simple. When you think you're getting too complicated, you are. If you think you're involving too many people, you are. You just want to keep it as simple as possible. First, you really need to take a look at your site. What is on it and what are your goals? You have everything from the main topics from admissions to campus life to campus news, you name it, it's on the site. And then within that, you have all your subcategories and subdepartments, intercategories, however you want to say it. It's within admissions, then you have how to apply, when to apply, frequently asked questions. And you just need to look at your site as a whole. What are your goals? The people who are coming there are prospective students, they're current students, they're faculty, parents of prospective students. What are your goals? You want them to see what? So you need to establish exactly what you want and where and what is important. So really establish those goals and lay them out as to what needs to be on your site. Then you need to think about cohesion. You have to keep it cohesive. This is an example of Claremont McKenna College. Every page that you go to on their site looks the same. So when you go to one, you click on it, it looks good, you go to the next, it's the same thing. You know you're on a different page because of the way it's labeled and even the pictures in this example, but you go to the one to the other and you're not lost because you know you're at the same place. You're not clicking on something and it's completely gone. So cohesion is extremely important. And then of course you need to think about who has access and who can have access, who's appropriate. Obviously staff members, some faculty members, maybe some graduate students, even undergraduate students. Perhaps they're in a class where they're working on site management, for example, and they can have access to update even just a certain page within a department. But again, how many people do you want to involve? How many people until it gets really frustrating slash really unmanageable? So you need to just think about who has access and who should have access. And then beyond access, who's responsible? Who is going to maintain this site? If you appoint point people, for example, who underneath them can ensure that the information is accurate, that it will be updated when it needs to be, when information can be added. If there's a new project out there, how can this information get out to, again, the people who are viewing your site? And that all goes back to the goals. Who do you want? Who's your target audience? Who are you trying to reach? So once you have the access figured out, and the fact that you've established that you need to be cohesive with your site, you need to appoint point people. You need to have someone almost like a management structure. They're accountable for each dimension in the site. And again, to keep it simple, you want to involve as few people as possible, but you obviously can't overwhelm someone. So are you going to allow a class who is perhaps doing something on a journalism project or something to update their class website, or do you want it to go above them? So you just need to establish who you can trust really in appointing those point people. And then you need to establish rules and regulations, what the appropriate usage is, who is using the site, why are they using it, and again, in a nature that is appropriate for, again, the intended audience and keeping up the site. You need to have editorial oversight, even as something as spelling mistakes and grammatical errors. How terrible would that look for a college website? You need to have someone who is really going to keep up on that and make sure that each page on the site is spoken in the same sort of context, that it's in a present tense, for example, or a past tense, that it comes down to those little things, but the more cohesive it is, the better it will be and the more successful it will be. And then you need to look at security. You need to make sure the people who do have access aren't abusing it, that they're using it appropriately. And again, it's just an oversight. It's a structured chain of management to ensure that there is accountability on all levels. And then once the site is up and running and moving, you need to check up on it. You need to do schedule reviews. You need to see how the site's doing. How are your goals? Your intended audience, which of course is prospective students, current students, faculty, staff, prospective students, parents. Are they being reached? When they go to the site, are they finding what they need? What's the traffic like? Are there some pages that are doing great and then all of a sudden they get to a certain link and it's gone? Study that. You can look at any of your analytics. Make sure that it is working for your intended audience. How is your management access structure going? How is the accountability measures put in place? Are those working for you? And this meeting should happen quarterly to ensure that it is appropriate, that people are using the appropriate measures and everything is working fluidly. So remember to think about content governance, keep it simple, involve as few people as possible, use a common sense approach, and just keep it simple. And remember to check back on your work to see how you're doing.